Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Lyra and Lily. As you can hear in my voice, I'm sounding a lot better. I was feeling better. Actually, quite a lot better after I finished recording my episode yesterday. I think in this episode, oh my gosh, shit, sorry, I keep getting the hiccups. Means I need to eat something. Okay. So, I've decided, oh my gosh. I've decided that, I think I need to make an episode on what it is that recording these episodes do for me. Sorry. I've been kind of camping out in my bed a little bit, lately. Because it's just kind of been, a cozy place. Oh. Give me a second. Blah. Oh. First thing in the morning, I struggle to eat solid food, so I drink Ensures, but they don't taste good anymore. But moving on from that, okay, so let's just talk about the last episode. So in the last episode, before I hit recording, I woke up and I was really just not feeling well, in the sense of, for the couple days before that, I was having really bad tummy troubles, to the point where, I can't eat or drink anything without getting heartburn, and it was just really wearing me down, honestly, because, about a week ago, actually, or a week and a half ago, I had the same thing happen, but it was 10 times worse. And so for it to come back so quickly was just it was really hard on me. And I find my body kind of goes with my hormones, so around the time, I guess you could say, you ovulate, my immune system just drops. I get allergies way easier, my throat swells up, goes into anaphylaxis, I'll get just my whole body will just, not be happy. And for me, because going through everything that I have, my physical body has kind of been my protector. The thing that if anything turns south, at least I got my body. And for me, I guess you could say one of the big fears, I'm sure in the beginning of my podcast, I remember those times of crying a lot because I was so afraid of everything outside. I'm not so much anymore because I've just really realized that, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. And actually, I had to call the cops onto them about a week or so ago, literally at the park, but they've left me alone since then. Sometimes it's the things that you really don't want to do because, you'll be a snitch or whatever, but just try, have, know your own boundaries, For me, I try everything else, and then I take extreme measures last. It just doesn't make sense to me to just go heavy hitting in first. That's not smart. That's how you escalate shit. I mean, if you do that, that's okay. But I'm just saying, personally, for me, And, yeah, okay, so where we were going. Okay, we were going back to why I record these episodes. So, these episodes for me, basically what happens is something will happen internally, you know. I don't like to record an episode right after something's happened to me, like right at the park, or too many things like that, because that's not coming from my perspective. And if I'm not careful in such a vulnerable state, I could put the blame on the other people and, you know, not come from the place that I'm coming from. When I'm coming Jesus sorry, where I'm coming from is with these episodes. First of all, I choose to inspire and be inspired, right? So I've watched movies, I've watched, you know, just like different people tell their story and how much it impacted me, and it made me realize I'm not alone, you know. And to hear someone else go through it, especially, like, I would always find these people's stories right at the right time, and they'd always get me through. And that's why, you know, I don't know if I'm going to have my podcast forever, in the sense of that I'll keep doing it, but I won't get rid of it, because, I won't get rid of it because, what's it called? I never know, maybe someone 100 years from now. I mean, I don't know if they'll still have Spotify 100 years from now. But I'll figure it out. Who knows, maybe I'll make it into a book. The moral of the point is it's a trifecta of things, I guess you could say. I'm a person that, like, I could give you a million reasons just why I'm walking down a certain road or why I'm doing a certain thing. Because, like, there's so many reasons. Like, I don't just do something for one reason. You know, my brain's constantly thinking about all the different things and everything. And, what's it called? It's just, I always have reasons to why I do things. In the heat of the moment, it's a little bit different. You know, I'm not perfect, you're not perfect, nobody's perfect. But I don't look for perfection. I only compete with myself, because for me, that's the only competition I feel that I should ever be in with, you know, is one with myself of, okay, I don't like this behavior, I don't like the way I reacted in this situation, you know, I personally don't feel like that's me. And it's through that I've grown and I've understood myself so much, because I realized that it didn't matter what other people said, you know. But for me, because, like, I've had people say, oh, it's okay to do that thing, and it seems harmless, you know, to a lot of people. But to me, it's just, it doesn't feel right. And there's so many things in life like that. Like, yesterday, there was this little green fly, and he hung out with me for a little bit, and then I thought he was gonna go when my outreach worker came. He was so cute. I protected him from the raindrops, and he hung out on my purse, and, you know, like, we had this little moment, and I got to watch him move his little 6 legs and stuff, and, it was just really nice. There we go. But yeah, what happened was when I went to go put him on a leaf, I accidentally, I didn't know there was, like, a tiny piece of, like, spider's web there, and he got a little stuck to it, and then I tried to save him. He did fly away in the end, my outreach worker did say, and I did see him fly away, But I felt so guilty, you know. I just spent like half an hour with this little guy. And, you know, like, it's those little moments with birds, with little flies, you know, ladybugs, or just these little animals that just come up and say hello, you know. They don't ask for anything. All they ask for is just your time and patience to sit with them, you know, and observe. You know, when I'm there, like, with that little green fly, I'm looking at him and I'm fascinated. I'm watching his little legs. I'm watching him calculate, because he was crawling on my little blue crocheted purse I made. So, like, I watched him, like, use his little antennas and his little legs to test out, like, where exactly he was gonna step. And that's so beautiful, you know. That's amazing. And it's little things like that that make my heart sing and make everything worth it. You know, what I've learned is you can't control life. You really can't. It's been a tough lesson, but I've always found, I guess you could say, the balance in things. I've always been able to understand the beauty in the smaller things. It's just been something kind of natural. It's only been, well, no, because, like, even when I've been in relationships and stuff, and it's different, you know. I notice the small, beautiful things about that person, you know, that make them them. Like, I just, like, or even in my friendships, or anybody I meet, or any person I have the opportunity to observe or get to know. Human beings are so beautiful. The earth is so beautiful. And I believe that through taking these small moments with these little animals, you know, we'll be able to have more patience and openness to seeing that in people and humans. And, you know, I myself, I've had my heart broken. I've had it shattered. I've been betrayed so bad that I don't know how I still have a heart. I really don't. Like, in the sense of, like, when I counteract, like, you know, but it's the little things, you know. It's these little moments, you know, like yesterday too, because, like, I was emotional and I was crying, and I didn't feel like myself, you know. I was raw. I was vulnerable. I haven't felt that, I guess you could say, pure in a while. I don't normally cry, you know. It just takes me a lot to cry, and it's not that I'm not sad, you know. It's not that things don't make me sad. It's just, I don't know. I used to think it was a bad thing. I used to be like, oh my god, like, you're not crying. That's just, like, you got no emotions. You've got, like, you know, nothing. And I thought, you know, for the longest time, honestly, it's just been undoing the pain. The pain that caused me to feel numb. The pain that caused me to be closed off to... Did you know sometimes, I'm going to be honest with you guys, sometimes the pain was so bad in 2020 of what I was going through, I would walk right past the crows. They didn't exist to me. And then one day, I looked up, and I was like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, that's when I realized how lost inside I was, you know. I've realized whenever I've been lost, in life, it's because I've been lost inside myself, because I've been so basically in the past, like, a lot of my relationships, like every one of my relationships, I guess you could say, got codependent for me. I don't mean to say that, like, these people, this is just something that I noticed from the way they acted and the way they responded to me, is when you're my partner, or or when you're really close to me, I should say, like really, really, really close, like every single day, like close. I don't have many people like that anymore, but when you're my partner, I will nurture you. Like, that's the thing, is like I love to nurture. I didn't realize how much the people I was meeting and just in the world haven't felt a mother's touch or a mother's love, or just the nurturing that comes from a mother. And it wasn't my intention to be the mama in the relationship or just come off that way. That's just who I am naturally, and I didn't know that. I just thought of myself as me. I didn't see, I didn't think there was anything wrong with it, and I'm not saying there is, but it's the people I was with that saw that, and they wanted it, and they took it, and I gave it, and I gave it, and I gave it, because I love. When I'm in love, I'm in love. You could say the ride or die term, but when I'm in a commitment with someone, I'm making the commitment to you to be a part of your life. I'm making the commitment that every day and I wake up next to you, I'm going to try to say good morning. Hopefully, well, my next relationship is going to be a lot more equal give and take, because then we'll both do it, but there's no off button when I love someone, and it's gotten me into a lot of trouble, and I used to be afraid of it, honestly. I thought there was a point in time in my life where I thought that there was something wrong with me, and that, it's kind of always been something that's in the back of my mind, and you could even say that's why I'm on this crazy journey of understanding myself. See, the thing is now, when I first started this journey, I started it with the intention of healing every day, every minute, just like absorbing, right? And I had to work for it. I had to work hard to remember what I was doing, the new techniques, the new way of thinking. And now that I've kind of come to this place, this grounded place, yes, I have these little things that come up, these memories, these things that still haunt me. But the most beautiful part about life is I don't have to think about it anymore. All these things that I used to worry so much about failing, healing. Like, it just, you know what I mean? Like, I used to be like, oh my god, what if I make myself worse? Like, what if I trigger myself and fucking fall apart. That's why I was afraid to heal. I was afraid to heal because I was afraid, because in the past, right, like, when I get emotional, it would be like a floodgate, so everything would come up, like, my whole story, all at once, and I would just, like, oh my god, like, main chunks, you know, checkpoints, you could say, and so I was really afraid to start the healing journey, the actual putting the intention of healing, because I was like, oh my god, like, what if I open this floodgate and I drown, you know, like, crap. Like, I don't really like working with therapists because I don't think they understand the dedication and the processes that I go through, and I usually just end up getting really frustrated with them in the end, because them still telling me I'm doing what I was doing before makes me do it. Like, I had this one therapist, and I was just, like, on the tail end of coming out of, like, my 2-year, like, really toxic, scary relationship. And I had a relapse, and I went back to him, and I told her about it. And before our next session, like, I told her, and we talked about it, and she gave me some things to work on, and I went home. And I did my own research, you know, I learned a lot. And then I think I was seeing her every 1 or 2 weeks. I'm not sure, though. But next time I saw her, you know, we're sitting there, and I'm trying to explain, you know, everything that I've just learned and everything. See, counseling for me is more just validation for the work I do myself. It's like, is this correct? It's really cool. My Every Trigger has a degree in, or she took psychology. She was taking psychology when I first met her. And, give me 1 second. Just moving the fan. Can you do okay? I'm always so afraid to get my hair in the fan. Okay. Okay, I'm back. It might be a little bit noisy, but yeah, we're good. Okay. So, yeah, where was I? I know I started saying, can you do the can in the middle of it when I was moving the phone. Not the phone, the fan. Yeah, so the cool thing now that I'm starting to be able to access my memory again, I used to be able to do this thing as a teenager when I first really got into music, and since I had a lot of my brain being blocked out from all the stuff I've been working through, and it's been opening back up, there's this really cool thing. And I used to listen to so many songs on repeat. I'm not even kidding you. But I can quiet my mind, and I can start, like, thinking of a song, and it's like the whole song. I'll remember the whole song, right? Like, I can almost, like, it's kind of weird. It's like a dream almost. And then I can change it, but it's, like, so cool, because, like, you know, I got my own little radio boombox in my head. It's just, oh yes, this is where I was going with this. Yeah, it's like, you know, with this healing journey, like I said, I was so afraid of drowning, because, you know, when I started it, I was May 2017. I was 2016, 2017. Wait. Then I must have met you in 2016. Maybe it was May 2018. I don't know. What? Or or it might have been May 2019. Yes, it was May 2019. Sorry, I got a little confused. Basically, there was this guy I was talking to, like, he said he was in a toxic relationship too, blah, 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 blah. And then I was like, you know, wanting to help him out, but at the time I was, like, in a home share, so I didn't have my own place. And, that's how my healing journey started, because I looked around at my life, and I was like, fuck, like, you know, I can't even have a boyfriend here, like, you know, like, I'm ready to have a real boyfriend, you know, where I have a house, and there's none of the awkwardness of being kind of, like, in shared living, and, that was kind of the motivation, ironically, and that's where it started. And I remember I was watching these videos on YouTube, people talking about self-love, and I never even really thought about self-love. It's not that I never thought I didn't love myself, I just never thought of self-love, you know. I just always thought of love as in loving other people and things outside of yourself, you know. I kind of forgot that, you know, I'm kind of a part of it too. Like, I guess for me, like, I've always kind of had this natural, like, dream-like mind to me, which has really helped with a lot of cool things. Yet at the same time, it's been hard for me to ground myself, like, in the fact that, like, you know, sometimes that I'm even alive, like, life just goes so strange for me. Like, I've had miracles, I swear I've met a couple devils, you know, like, and then sometimes my world just gets so calm, and that's when it mostly feels like a dream, I guess you could say. But it's just this healing journey that I started, it's been amazing, you know. It's been tough, and there's been times where, you know, it was really dark. And for me, I really found that my healing journey, most of it came through relationships, whether it be friendships, different people, and just I started taking a look at how they were treating me and how I was treating them. And the more that I did that, the more I began to realize that I was giving out a lot more than I was getting back. Not only that, but I was starting to realize, you know, the people I was around. Like, when I'm around this person, this is what happens, you know? And I started doing that slowly. Of course, it took quite a while, but then there was other things that came up, right? Like, you've heard me talk about my past traumas. Those ones came up. And I guess what I can say is what I did is I put, like, faith and trust in not only something outside of myself, but within my body, you know, within my mind and my soul, that, you know, I wouldn't be overwhelmed, that it would come in just the right doses, just enough to help me work through it, but not enough to completely shut me down. And when I was doing my journey in the beginning, I didn't have that. I had to learn it. I had to learn to have faith and trust. And before I did, every time I got sad or something, I would be so scared. And then I'd act out of that behavior. And then as I started to have faith and trust, it really started to pick up probably 2020 and maybe 2019, where I'd have these tiny moments of peace. Like, it would be just like, I'm not saying you're not ever gonna feel peace. I mean these moments, it could almost be just like your heart letting go, you know, of these things. And you know how, like, after you have, like, a really big cry, it's that cathartic feeling of just that relief? That's these moments of peace I started having. And they start getting bigger and bigger. And when I look back through my healing journey, I don't remember everything fully, but what I do remember looking back now is I see that everything I went through, it was really tough, and sometimes it pushed me to my limits, and I felt like my world was falling apart and I wouldn't make it through, but I always did. And I think the more that I made it through these things, and the more I was able to come out on the other side, even if it wasn't pretty, even if it wasn't perfect, as long as I made it, that started building confidence. That to me is the key to helping unlock yourself, is slowly building confidence in yourself. Start small. Find something that makes you feel confident, and the more you do it, it builds and it builds. For me, it was the confidence of knowing that I made it through all this stuff, that I remember, and trigger warning, kind of has to do with suicide, but it does, but I've been in moments in my healing journey, mainly with an ex, where it was just so bad. It was just so traumatizing, so traumatic, and it was eating me alive, to the point where, I thought my only way out was to end my life. And in those moments where I've gotten there, the thing that has pulled me back every time is a small part of myself. I could call it my inner child, I could call it God, I could call it my angels. But whatever it was helped me save my life. And all that it said was, what about tomorrow? Because even though my life had been chaotic throughout my healing journey, the chaos made me realize in those moments where I felt like I was completely trapped, that the chaos showed me that things are still changing, that there is, if I just stick it out one more day, maybe the next day, maybe it'll be chaotic, but maybe it'll be that push. There's the chaos. It's kind of like the phoenix, right? From the ashes rose the phoenix of, you keep getting knocked down, right? You keep getting lit on fire, and you keep turning into ash, and the pile of ashes is just getting bigger and bigger, and you're so tired. You feel like this gray fog just going through life, But the thing that comes in, I guess, could be that peace, could be that healing, that letting go, that could be the water, right? So then the water starts coming in, and all this ash that's been burned starts to get moist and build almost like a clay-like texture. And as you continue on and you just keep going, you start forming and building something out of all those ashes. And then before you know it, all of a sudden you're this big, beautiful phoenix. And it shocks you. But then the thing is, you have become the phoenix, but now you must learn how to fly. And so when I became the phoenix was when I really just kind of took ownership of who I am and where I've been. And I would probably say it wasn't too long ago. It's taken me a while to get to this point, but see, even it's not like bam, it was at this moment that I was at the phoenix. I'm the phoenix. I can feel it. I've been burned so many times, and then I've allowed this healing water to come in and build up the phoenix of who I am. And right now I'm just learning to fly. And, so I'm flapping a wing here and I'm flapping a wing there. I'm just testing it out. I'm exploring who I am, fully exploring who I am. I'm not just my story anymore. I'm my story of what I've been through and the miracles I've witnessed and the miracles I've created and the impact that I've left on this world, you know? And being a phoenix is just one aspect of my life, you know? There's so many different layers to me. And, you know, I used to think I'm crazy for having so many different layers. But, you know, I've been through so many different experiences where I've had to go through different emotions, different actions, different thought processes. You know, I had to adapt to survive. And so that means there's these multifaceted aspects of myself. And I just learned how to embrace and just realize that I'm not just one thing. I'm not just one, you know, this is quote unquote Angela, this is the bullet points, you know, like do, you know, like I really love kids. I'm amazing with children, you know, when I have my own children, especially once I learn how to form that bond and just have that experience, you know, that part of me, you know, that layer is going to glow a golden sun ray, you know, and then I'll understand that aspect of myself. And the amazing part about this healing journey, if we look at it that way, right? So we got this onion, and we've got all these different layers, and we just talked about how when I experienced being a mother, you know, being able to have my own child, that's when that layer will glow golden. Now, also what I've described through my healing journey is I've been in situations that have not been so, you know, nice and stuff. But the beautiful part about using the onion and what I just kind of thought of with the golden layer is all these moments during our healing journey of when we were actually consciously dedicated to healing is those moments that seem chaotic. Some people call them the dark night of the soul. It's to process and own all these other layers to yourself that have gone through so many different, you know, experiences. And, you know, so like with me, like with my adoptive parents, right? Like I had to be so many different layers of myself living with them. And I found in a lot of my more toxic relationships that there's been situations that correlate with living with my adoptive parents, and I've experienced those different layers to myself. And through experiencing them and acknowledging them and being able to work through them, I'm able to take those onion layers from red to golden. And by tunnel visioning on all of these darker aspects, I mean, you can if you want. And that was just my thing, because it's been fascinating. It's been the reason I wake up every day. And so by looking and going through and re-experiencing and processing a lot of these onion layers that have been overwhelming or just chaotic or toxic, I'm able to let them go and turn them into gold rays. And, you know, the beautiful thing is I've also experienced beautiful things as a child, which I've been experiencing now. And the beautiful thing about an onion, especially when it's a golden layer onion, is there's no minimum or maximum on how big your onion can be. It's up to you. What would you like to choose? And it can be any color. You can do anything with it. Just remember you have an onion, and you yourself are an onion. Apparently it's off of the movie Shrek. So I don't know how I feel about that, but I do love that movie. Oh my god. Sorry. I just yeah. I'm really proud of myself. And, you know, even this podcast right now, like, I just kind of thought about this for the first time, ironically. but it's like, like one of those time capsules. I'm literally creating a time capsule for myself to look back in, like 20 years, 30 years. I'm just proud of myself. I'm proud of the dedication and commitment I've had to just life in general. But also, I'm extremely proud of how much I've fought to keep my heart, and how even when I'd get strayed or I'd become cold or distant, I would meet people, or I would be reminded of who I used to be. And it would remind me that, okay, shit, you've gotten a little bit cold, you've gotten a little bit distant, let's remember how to feel loved again. Let's remember how to, just be you, and let's open your heart back up. And yeah, so I wish you all a very beautiful day. I gotta start getting ready, even though I don't really want to. Oh my god, I very rarely stretch, but when I do, it doesn't feel good. But I am okay. I'm more than okay. I'm really happy. I'm really proud. And to all you guys out there, thank you. Thank you for your dedication to life. The healing journey is done at a conscious and an unconscious level. Just by you waking up every day and you being alive, you're still learning. You're still growing as a person, And honestly, my main reason I struggle to talk about like scientific stuff or anything besides myself is I haven't personally experienced any other reality besides my own. And I used to think that like I could like group myself in with a bunch of people, or like try to like, in the sense of like to explain something or anything like that. But for me, I realized how different everyone's perspective is now. Like, I'm able to humbly admit, that, I don't know, it stemmed from believing everybody, like, almost being in, like, a fairy tale, like, everybody is a good person and no one's gonna hurt you kind of thing, right? It took me time to, like, come back to reality and see the different people around me and who they are and their multifacetedness, and it's through that I've realized how unique we all are. And the only thing that I could ever speak on and feel like I was speaking the truth is my own life and my own perspectives. And it's through that's why I say I choose to inspire and be inspired, I'm inspired by people who share their story and how it makes me feel. I'm inspired by when I listen to music, I feel connected to them because I feel the emotion they're going through, and it's something I've gone through. It's the human connection. And I can only understand my own personal language from human connection. Yet, I can inspire others to understand theirs, because who knows? Maybe some people do go through things that I've gone through, or have gone through similar situations and kind of understand and makes them feel less alone. I really don't know. And that's why I'm putting myself out here, because I don't know. I don't know if my podcast episodes could be saving someone's life, or just all these things. I don't know. But what I do know is that speaking my truth and my personal perspective on my own journey can help me. It helps heal my heart. And through healing my heart, there's something inside of my heart that knows I'm healing you. I don't know how, but I can feel it. And that right there is all I ever need to know, is that I'm inspiring others and opening hearts and making people feel less alone. Sorry, that was a double that. That is my goal, and that is my purpose. And I thank you for being here, for listening, for taking the time out of your day to listen to these words. And I'm truly grateful to all of you. And I hope I inspire you. Have a great day. Yeah, it's daytime. Bye, guys.